Posted by u/throwaway7493629. My husband, 34M, and I, 32F, have been married for 9 years, and we have 3 kids, 12M, 8F, and 6F. I have a very demanding job and work long hours, so my sister, 33F, watches our kids on weekdays because she works from home. The schedule is that I get the kids up and drop them off at my sister's house at 6:30, and then I go to work. My sister feeds the kids breakfast and gets them to the bus stop. After school, the bus drops the kids off, and my sister gives them snacks and helps with homework until my husband picks them up at 5. I get home from work at 6:30/7. My sister and I are very close, and I'm extremely grateful to her. She loves and spoils my kids. She's basically like a third parent to them. I pay for all her groceries, and my kids help her around the house in return. On Monday, I got an urgent call from my husband after he picked up the kids. He said that I needed to leave work immediately so we could have an emergency discussion at home. I panicked and rushed home because he wasn't answering any of my calls after he hung up. When I got home, my husband proceeded to dramatically tell me that my sister was gay. Apparently, when he got to her house, her girlfriend was there, and they kissed in front of him. I actually laughed when he told me this because my sister has been out since I was a teenager, and her girlfriend and she have been together for 3 years. He is claiming that he thought her girlfriend was just her friend and that mentions of her being gay were just jokes. My sister's girlfriend doesn't come to a lot of family events because she travels for work, and our family doesn't really talk about her being gay that often. Still, I can't believe that he wouldn't have figured this out in the 13 years he's known her. It's been so long that I can't remember if I ever verbally told him that she's gay. My husband said that he doesn't want her around the kids anymore because she will influence them and wouldn't explain what that meant. I told him that I wasn't going to cut my sister out, and he said I could still see her but not the kids because they are too young. I asked what the hell he expected to do for childcare if we couldn't use my sister, and he suggested I take a week off work while we figure it out, which I absolutely cannot do. I didn't want to yell at him in front of the kids, so I said I was going to take a walk to calm down and that we would discuss this later. When I got back, my daughters were crying, and my son was upset. He told me that their father had told them they weren't allowed to see their aunt anymore because she was having personal issues. I blew up at my husband and told him that he was being bigoted and selfish, and that I wasn't going to cut my kids off from their aunt, who loves them, because he was too stupid to notice that she's gay. Then I packed the kids up and went to stay with my sister. I have no idea what to do. I love my husband, and I don't want a divorce, but there's no way I'm going to cut my sister off. I can't believe my husband didn't know she was gay, but I don't know why he would lie about this. He's never said or done anything homophobic before. I know I shouldn't have yelled at him like that, but I was furious that he said that to the kids. Any advice would be appreciated because I'm at a complete loss here. Edit. After reading the comments, I think, unfortunately, you guys are right. This is so out of the blue that I was looking for reasons why he might not be a bigot, but I think he just is. If it comes down to him or my sister, I am choosing my sister. At this point, I'm so upset with him that I don't know if I would take him back if he came begging on his knees. He said what he said, and he can't take that back. To answer some questions, we don't really talk about politics because he doesn't really engage. I will mention something, and he'll just respond with okay or aha. Our life has been so hectic lately that we don't have a ton of alone time together, and when we do, we don't talk about politics. We live in a pretty liberal area, and he's never expressed any right-wing beliefs to me before, so I never thought he had any different views. My sister being gay doesn't come up that much. Her girlfriend isn't around us or our kids a lot, and my sister's sexuality isn't a topic of conversation because it's just something that is. Like, she's gay, and that's that, so it doesn't really get discussed. I talked to my sister, and she said that they don't really interact that much. When he comes to get the kids, he will usually just say hello and nothing more. He's been ignoring my calls and texts, so I'm going to go over to our house tomorrow when I know he's home and have a discussion with him. I'll post an update. Thanks for all the advice. Update 2 days later. This is an update to a post I made earlier. It turns out many of you were right, my husband was lying about not knowing my sister is gay. He wasn't answering my calls or texts, so I went to the house when I knew he'd be there to talk. After we sat down, I told him the only way I'd even begin to consider working things out was if he gave me the real reason for his behavior, agreed to go to couples and individual therapy to address his hurtful views, and apologize to me, the kids, and my sister. He started repeating the same nonsense about my sister being a bad influence on the kids and not aligning with his moral compass. I got fed up and told him to cut the BS or I'd walk out and he'd never see me or his children again. I've never spoken to him like that before, and I think it rattled him because he spilled the whole story. Long story short, he's been engaged in an affair for the past year. Now that I think about it, it makes sense. I thought maybe he was pulling away because of stress from work and the kids. He admitted that his weekend office visits were just an excuse to see her. Sometimes, he even took a half day at work to be with her before picking up the kids. In his words, he was neutral about my sister being gay until his girlfriend opened his eyes. Apparently, when he mentioned my sister to her, she was shocked and started sending him podcasts and YouTube videos on the subject. Over the past year, he's been falling down a right-wing rabbit hole, and I had no idea. He said he knew I wouldn't accept his new beliefs, so he hid them from me. He also admitted he's been wanting a divorce for a while, not just because of the affair. After consuming all the videos and podcasts, he started to resent me because I'm not a traditional wife who stays home to cook, clean, and take care of the kids while he relaxes after work. He said seeing my sister kiss her girlfriend was the final straw because it made him realize the extent of what his children were being exposed to. So, he pretended not to know about it and made it into a huge issue. In his mind, this was the perfect solution: either I'd see things his way and become a stay-at-home mom, or I'd divorce him, and he'd come out looking like the good guy. Then, he said that he's going for full custody to protect his kids. I'm not proud of it, but I flipped out on him. I called him a lot of names and told him it'd be a cold day in hell before he even got 50-50 custody. I said if he wants to speak to me again, he'll have to contact my lawyer. Then I stormed out before I could do something rash. Honestly, this is a nightmare, and I feel partially to blame. 13 years together, and I didn't notice he was changing. I didn't think he was the type to get pulled into this sort of thing, but I guess I overestimated him. I also never thought he'd cheat, so maybe I didn't know him as well as I thought. On the other hand, the comments on my last post made me reflect, and I realized I wasn't very happy in our marriage. Many people ask what we even talk about, and the honest answer is, we don't. We started dating when I was 19, and he was my second boyfriend. About a year in, I started feeling unsure about our relationship, and then bam, I got pregnant with our son. Everything happened so fast. He proposed, and I said yes. We'd never discussed marriage before, and looking back, I'm pretty sure I would have said no if I wasn't pregnant. Although we had a long engagement, we were basically married right away since I moved in with him to raise our son. God, I feel so stupid. I think I was naive at the start of our relationship. I never thought to have in-depth conversations about politics, family, or religion. Now, I'm realizing I mostly stayed in the marriage because it felt easier than the alternative and better for the kids. I genuinely thought he was a good man and father. Now, I'm remembering all these moments in our relationship that I brushed off and fights we had that add up to a bigger picture. I think part of why I've been so frazzled and exhausted lately is because he's been doing the bare minimum, leaving me and my sister to pick up the slack. I don't regret the marriage because it gave me my kids, but I regret not seeing everything sooner and getting out. Right now, my kids are my priority. When I got back, I sat them down and had a long conversation about their father, his views, and LGBT rights in general. I made it clear I'd support them no matter what. I'm also looking into counseling for all three of them to help them process this. We're temporarily staying with my sister while I sort out the divorce. We have separate bank accounts, but I need to figure out how to sell the house because I can't afford it alone, and he definitely can't either. There are some townhomes opening up in my sister's neighborhood that I'm going to try for so my kids can walk to her house. My sister has been so supportive through all of this. We had a long talk with lots of hugging and crying. I feel awful for bringing a bigot into her life, and I don't think I'll ever be able to repay her for all the love and support she's given me and my kids. She and her girlfriend have been helping out with the kids in divorce process. Since her girlfriend is in town, I decided to spend time with her and my kids. This weekend, we're going to the museum to take their minds off everything. What worries me most is custody. I don't want my soon-to-be ex-husband or his girlfriend anywhere near my kids, but I'm unsure what to do. He's still their father, and I don't want to keep them from having a relationship. I'm going for full custody, but should I ban him from seeing them entirely? My son and older daughter are very upset with him. My son doesn't want to see him at all, and I won't force him if he doesn't want to. I'm sorry this is so long and rambling, but it feels good to get my thoughts out. This situation has been overwhelming, so any advice going forward would be greatly appreciated. I might update in the future once things are settled to let you know how it's going. In the meantime, thank you all for the helpful comments and messages. Up in the comments. I have an appointment with a lawyer on Monday. There is no way in hell I'm letting his mistress anywhere near my kids. I want to sell the house as soon as possible and get him out of there. If he wants to act like this, he can go stay with her. I'm not sure about moving back into the house because I'm scared he'll show up when it's just me and the kids. I think my sister intimidates him a little, which is probably why he hasn't shown up at her house. And I still don't get his logic: if I quit my job, we'd lose the house, so I don't understand what his plan was. I feel like an idiot for not seeing his true colors sooner.